Yo, what's good everybody, it's your boy Malcolm, and let's go ahead and get into this Shazam review. If you guys have noticed that this video is posted a little bit earlier than it normally is posted, it's because I got invited to my first movie premiere, which is super cool. So I got to see the movie before anybody else did, and I'm really excited about that. It was an awesome experience. If you guys want to see more about that, go ahead and check out my vlog. It'll probably be posted a little bit later than this video, but we're here for the review, so let's go ahead and talk about the movie. I'm just gonna straight up say it. I did not have that many expectations when it came to this movie. That's how I've been feeling a lot with DC movies lately, and not just DC movies, but kind of superhero movies. My expectations haven't been super high because they just haven't been that good recently. But this movie did exceed my expectations. I actually enjoyed it more than I expected to. Granted, that does not mean that there were not problems, because there were a good amount of problems, but there were a lot of good points, and I actually did enjoy it. I never really found myself bored throughout the movie, except for one part where I did feel a little bit bored, but for the most part, I did enjoy the movie. Also, I don't know if me enjoying it is coming from my personal biases. I don't know if y'all know, but Shazam is my third favorite superhero of all time. So I just love seeing Shazam. I got plenty positives and I got plenty negatives, so let's go ahead and take it one at a time. We're gonna go with the positives first. We're gonna start off on a good note before we get too critical, because y'all know I can get critical when it comes down to movies, or anything for that matter. Am I too critical as a person? All right, positives for the movie. For me, the biggest positive in this movie probably would have been Freddy. I really liked Freddy. I liked his character. I like what they did with him. I have a very interesting brand of comedy. I feel like my brand of comedy is a little bit different from other people, so I was really enjoying his sarcasm, wittiness, charming. Like, I was vibing with it. Every joke he was saying was hitting. Granted, his acting wasn't 1000% there. He did a lot of just kind of like screaming. I felt like he was just acting very loudly. But when he wasn't, I was really enjoying it. He was genuinely truly funny, and I really did enjoy him. Like, keep it a stack, I liked him more than Shazam himself. Like, I mean, Shazam did make a good amount of jokes, and his jokes were cool, but some of Shazam's jokes felt a little silly, and I get it, he's supposed to be childish, but it felt a little silly to me. I feel like Freddy's jokes were just a lot more well thought out and witty, and that's my brand of comedy. Like, I like just the dry wittiness. But another big positive for the movie for me was just that it was good comedy overall. This movie was definitely better than Thor: Love and Thunder in terms of the comedy, right? Like, this movie was made to be comedic, it was made to be funny, but I don't feel like the comedy was overbearing, right? I didn't feel like I was getting tired of them telling so many jokes, because one, I kind of went into this movie, you know, after the first Shazam movie, I knew that I was walking into a comedy movie, but it was better comedy than I would say Thor: Love and Thunder had, or any other really comedic superhero movie in recent years. Like, I can't lie, there were points where I was in the theater and I actually did laugh out loud. Like, there were plenty of points where the theater all laughed together. Another thing that I thought this movie did very well was the CGI. There were a lot of moments in which they were CGI. When the monsters got spawned, there was the dragon, obviously there's a lot of lightning and fighting, and the CGI was actually pretty good. There are points where the CGI is bad and I can kind of see that it's a green screen, like when the lady was sitting in the car on the bridge. It was very clear that they were selective on what they were going to spend their budget on, but the parts that they really dove in and put the money into, it looked very good. Like, there were plenty of points where the villain was riding on the dragon, or Shazam was hitting it and grabbing it, and it felt and looked realistic. Like, I was never really, as far as like the fighting scenes with the creatures go, I was never really removed from that and thinking, oh damn, this is super CGI, and I was pretty much immersed in it, and I think that they did a really good job with that. And on that same level, the action was hitting. This movie has some good ass action. Like, when you're coming to a movie for Shazam, you're coming to it for comedy and action. Like, I'm not expecting this movie to be an overall blockbuster, super deep story, change my view on life. No, I'm coming into this the same way I'm coming into a Fast and Furious movie. I want to see action and I want to laugh a little bit. That's really what I'm here for. I know what I'm walking into, and they did the action well. The fight scenes were fire. Whether Shazam was flying through the city or fighting a monster, they were well choreographed. They had good amounts of energy and they were fun. And I thought that that was probably the best part of the movie, was the action. Now granted, there was one part where it was action packed but I didn't give a damn at all. Was at the very end, where it was like the second half of that final battle with the dragon, where things just started to feel slow and they were supposed to be getting big and anthemic and emotional. And all I was thinking was like, yo, this is going on too long. That final fight scene inside the dome, like I'm talking like the second half of it inside the dome, they could have shortened that. All right, now let's talk about the negatives. There were quite a bit of negatives in this movie, but I wouldn't say they overshadowed the positives, but I kind of had to look past them in order to enjoy the movie to its fullest. The biggest negative for me in this movie would be the villains. When it comes down to a superhero movie, one of the things that, probably one of the most important things that makes a superhero movie good is a good villain. And we did not have that. Bro, those three sisters, I literally could not have cared less. Their powers were whack. Their motives, I didn't really care. The one like older one, the oldest one, she was pretty good. She was good when it came down to acting. But other than that, like, I did not care about those villains. Like, I feel like a truly good superhero villain has to have either two things. They have to be relatable to the point where you're even questioning if the villain is evil or not. Where you're like, oh wow, like, damn, I kind of feel them a little bit. And I wasn't feeling these villains at all. They were really just on some revenge shit and I didn't really care. Or the second thing that can make a really good superhero villain is when they're just evil as hell, bro. They're just super, super, super evil and you can just feel that they don't give a damn. They just want to be evil, and they weren't that either. They were kind of trying to toe that middle line, and when it comes down to a superhero movie, especially when it's a one-off villain, you can't toe that line. You gotta dive all the way in. And for superhero movies, I feel like you gotta give us a villain that we kind of care about a little bit already, because this is a sequel and you don't have a ton of time to connect this to the villain. So I feel like you kind of got to bring a villain that we know a little bit from the DC universe. Granted, Shazam doesn't have any big villains other than Black Adam, and we knew he wasn't popping up here. But I just feel like I wasn't connected to the villains at all. I couldn't have cared any less about them. Probably my second biggest critique of the movie was it was very cliche. And, you know, wasn't expecting a super well thought out fantastic story, but it was really cliche. I went with my homie Christian and there were multiple times where I was able to guess what was about to happen next because that's how cliche it was. Freddy was with the girl in the school and I leaned over and I was like, she's gonna be a villain. Or in the final fight with Shazam, I was like, he's gonna sacrifice himself and then come back. It was predictable. It was very predictable. Not to mention, if you watch the trailer, basically the whole movie was in the trailer. Like, this shit, the whole shit was given away. And then the third biggest negative that I would say I had was probably just that there was too much happening. There were too many characters. In the original Shazam movie, they were just trying to develop Shazam, right? Because Shazam, there was only one person and they were developing Freddy a little bit, which was cool. Now that they have the Shazam family, they kind of opened up so many different story arcs. But there were so many people that they weren't able to flesh them all the way out. They had Billy's abandonment issues, which I don't feel like ever really fully got fleshed out. They just kind of brought it back up at the end and put a bow on it as if everything was good, but it wasn't. Freddy got his overinflated ego. His ego never really got fixed. It was just really quick and the girl was like, you're a hero, you don't need to be a superhero. I was like, all right, cool. Cool. There was the older girl wanting to go off and go to college and not have to be with the family all the time. That didn't get any resolution at all. The whole theme of these humans aren't gods, that kind of got, like, there was just so many plot points that they weren't able to all get fleshed out because there were too many people. It was just too many people. And then there was the team aspect. Like, this just hit me as I was talking about it. I didn't even really think about it during the movie, but there was the whole team aspect. The whole beginning of the movie was that we're broken up and we're not working as a team and we need to get that team dynamic back because that's the most important thing. They never even got the team dynamic back. Like, why even make that a plot point? Such a big plot point, by the way, if you're not gonna fully resolve it. I guess the other siblings kind of ended up working as a team at the end, but Billy never, we never even got to see them all fight together. Yeah, that's weird. I think that was a fumble. That was definitely a fumble. Huh. Overall, though, the movie was good. I enjoyed it quite a lot. It gave me exactly what I was expecting. I would definitely say this movie was better than Ant-Man Quantumania. Y'all know I didn't like that movie at all. That was a movie of absolutely nothing. This movie kept me interested the whole time. Was I in love with it? No. But I was definitely interested. It had my focus. Quantumania, I was sitting there like, okay, when is this shit over with? Like, I'm ready to go. This movie, I was watching the whole time and I was like, all right, cool. This is fun. I'm vibing with it. It was cool. It was just a cool movie. If I had to rate it, I would probably rate it a 7, probably like a low 7. I haven't watched any other reviews or really talked to anybody about it because I saw it early. But I have a feeling I'm gonna be in the minority on that. Something is telling me that people are really gonna hate this movie. I think people are gonna hate it because we had such a great era of superhero movies that people expect every single superhero movie to be some fantastic, groundbreaking thing, and this just wasn't that. This wasn't groundbreaking. It didn't break the mold or start anything new. It literally stayed in its lane. It had good comedy, it had good action, and that's all I really need from a Shazam movie, but I feel like people are gonna want more. Plus, it's cool to hate on DC movies now. So I just feel like people are gonna hate it, but I liked it. I'd say it was probably a low 7. But yo, I would love to hear what you guys thought about the movie, and what you guys thought of my review. I love talking to you guys and hearing you guys' opinions, so definitely comment your opinions and things like that. Also, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. My channel's been doing very well, and I'm trying to get monetized as soon as possible. So if you guys could help me with that, that would be absolutely awesome. There's about to be a bunch of fire movies coming out soon, so I'm gonna be uploading way more reviews, way more stuff. Like, I'm just really excited to keep ramping it up on YouTube, and it really just helps when you guys support me. So thank you guys so much. I literally cannot say how much I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.